Canto 1. Argument. The writer, having lost his way in a gloomy forest, and being hindered by certain wild beasts from ascending a mountain, is met by Virgil, who promises to show him the punishments of hell, and afterwards of purgatory, and that he shall then be conducted by Beatrice into paradise. He follows the Roman poet. In the midway of this our mortal life, I found me in a gloomy wood, astray, gone from the path direct, and e'en to tell, it were no easy task, how savage wild, that forest, how robust and rough its growth, which to remember only my dismay, renews in bitterness not far from death. Yet to discourse of what there good befell, all else will I relate discovered there. How first I entered it, I scarce can say, such sleepy dullness in that instant weighed my senses down when the true path I left. But when a mountain's foot I reached, where closed the valley that had pierced my heart with dread, I looked aloft and saw his shoulders broad, already vested with that planet's beam, who leads all wanderers safe through every way. Then was a little respite to the fear that in my heart's recesses deep had lain. All of that light so pitifully past, and as a man with difficult short breath, forespent with toiling, scaped from sea to shore, turns to the perilous wide waste and stands at gaze, e'en so my spirit that yet failed, struggling with terror, turned to view the straits that none hath passed and lived. My weary frame, after short pause recomforted again, I journeyed on over that lonely steep, the hinder foot still firmer. Scarce the ascent began when, lo, a panther, nimble, light, and covered with a speckled skin, appeared, nor, when it saw me, vanished, rather strove to check my onward going, that oft times, with purpose to retrace my steps, I turned. The hour was morning's prime, and on his way, aloft the sun ascended with those stars, that with him rose when love divine first moved, those its fair works, so that with joyous hope, all things conspired to fill me, the gay skin, of that swift animal, the matin dawn, and the sweet season. Soon that joy was chased, and by new dread succeeded, when in view a lion came, gaze me as it appeared, with his head held aloft and hunger mad, that e'en the air was fear struck. A she-wolf was at his heels, who in her leanness seemed full of all wants, and many a land hath made disconsolate, and now she with such fear o'erwhelmed me at the sight of her appalled, that of the height all hope I lost, as one who, with his gain elated, sees the time when all unwares is gone, he inwardly mourns with heart-griping anguish. Such was I, haunted by that fell beast, never at peace, who coming o'er against me by degrees, impelled me where the sun in silence rests, while to the lower space with backward step I fell. My ken discerned the form of one, whose voice seemed faint through long disuse of speech. When him in that great desert I espied, have mercy on me, cried I out aloud, spirit or living man, whate'er thou be. He answered, now not man, man once I was, and born of Lombard parents, Mantuans both, by country when the power of Julius yet was scarcely firm. At Rome my life was passed, beneath the mild Augustus in the time of fabled deities and false, a bard, was one, and made Anchises' upright son the subject of my song, who came from Troy, when the flames preyed on Ilium's haughty towers. But thou, say wherefore to such perils past returns, and thou, wherefore not this pleasant mount ascendest, cause and source of all delight? And art thou then that Virgil, that wellspring, from which such copious floods of eloquence have issued? I with front abashed replied, glory and light of all the tuneful train, I may it avail me, that I long with zeal have sought thy Iolum, and with love immense have conned it o'er. My master thou, and guide, thou he from whom alone I have derived that style which for its beauty and to fame exalts me. See the beast from whom I fled. Oh, save me from her, thou illustrious Sagitt, for every vein and pulse throughout my frame she hath made tremble. He, soon as he saw that I was weeping, answered, thou must needs another way pursue, if thou wouldst scape from out that savage wilderness. This beast, at whom thou creest, her way will suffer none to pass, and no less hindrance makes than death. So bad and so accursed in her kind, that never sated is her arduous will. Still after food circumflex more craving than before. To many an animal in wedlock vile, she fastens, and shall yet to many more, until that greyhound come, who shall destroy her with sharp pain. He will not life support, by earth nor its base metals, but by love, wisdom and virtue, and his land shall be the land twixt either Feltro, I in his might, shall safety to Italia's plains arise, for whose fair realm Camilla, virgin pure, Nissus, Euryalus, and Turnus fell. He, with incessant chase through every town, shall worry until he to hell at length restore her, thence by envy first let loose. I for thy profit pondering now devise, that thou mayst follow me, and I, thy guide, will lead thee hence through an eternal space, where thou shalt hear despairing shrieks, and see spirits of old tormented, who invoke a second death, and those next few who dwell content in fire, for that they hope to come, whene'er the time may be, among the blest, into whose regions, if thou then desire to ascend, a spirit worthier than I must leave thee, in whose charge, when I depart, thou shalt be left for that Almighty King, who reigns above, a rebel to his law, adjudges me, and therefore hath decreed, that to his city none through me should come. He in all parts hath sway, their rules, their holds, his citadel and throne. All happy those, whom there he chooses eye to him in view, barred by that God whom thou didst not adore. I do beseech thee that this ill and worse I may escape to lead me where thou saidst, that I St. Peter's gate may view, and those who, as thou tell'st, are in such dismal plight. Onward he moved, our closest steps pursued,